Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ask ServiceMonster show, where you've got questions about your service business and we've got your answers. This episode is number 11. How do I make 11? Today we're going to talk about employees. I got a question from April and she was like, "Yo, Joe, with the busy season starting up, I'm afraid that I'm actually going to have to start hiring a few people to help me out." And she's a little gun shy because she's had the experience before and she finds it hard to find capable people, finding it hard to find people who want to work, whether it's in the office or on the truck. Finding it hard to find people who will stay for more than a week. I know you guys go through a lot of that. I go through that too. So I thought I'd kind of touch on that topic today and talk about employees in general. How do you find them? How do you keep them? How do you inspire them? And how do you grow a team to help you build this business that you're trying to build? It's no secret, human resources is one of the toughest things entrepreneurs and business owners have to deal with. People are complex, but without them, your business will not grow. The only way to scale is to do it with people and to inspire them to help you along the journey. So let's talk about first how you get those first few employees in the door. So you're gonna have to find some people that can wear a lot of hats, because again, you're not hiring specialized positions. Yes, you may say your primary objective is to answer the phones in the office, but they need a broader understanding of what's going on in your business so they can really help you in those other areas. It's amazing how much other people can help when you've trained them and they've bought into your vision. Finding those people, putting it on Craigslist, putting an ad on Craigslist, and maybe wording it in a way that is a little more open and inviting than just looking for a position. You're not looking just to fill a position and you're not looking for just a skill set. You're looking for a person. Skills can be trained, and a lot of the younger crowd are going to come in without a lot of skills, but the ability to pick up skills very fast, especially if you can keep them interested. So we hire people over skills, and when I say that, what I mean is the resume might not line up with a job position. One of my best engineers came from Walmart, stocking shelves. We were looking for the passion in development, and this kid was slinging code at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, he learned his craft. That's the kind of ambition that we look for. Other traits we look for, obviously passion in all aspects of their life. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the skill set that we're looking for, and perhaps we can leverage that passion within the business itself at times, like if they're interested in video or producing content, if they're interested in writing, maybe for your blog, taking pictures, maybe they're really interested with interacting with the customer at a much deeper level, doing those cross sales and so forth. So just pay attention to what their passions are. But at the end of the day, when you have a new applicant sitting in a chair, make sure they're passionate about something, anything. Hustle. And that comes in a variety of packages, right? So it's not necessarily the guy who's running around the baseball field all day long, but speed is a good barometer. And when you care about something, you can get lost in the depth of it and kind of wander off in nowheresville. But if you've got the hustle gene too, then you'll know to rein that stuff back in and maybe reduce your aspirations to something more achievable. Loyalty. That's a big one. Now, I'm not a big fan of saying, you worked for me for 2 years and now you left and I'm all mad at you because I put training into you and you didn't stay. I expect these guys to grow and eventually either leave or be part of this massive company that we're building in a much more real way. Loyalty is big for me. When they believe that they're part of something bigger than just themselves and they can believe in that, then you get real horsepower out of people come crunch time, and that's when it really matters. Now, just a couple points on traits I tend to stay away from. Complaining, it's a big one. There's a difference between an opportunity for a solution and just flat out complaining. Gossip, man, that will kill a company fast. He said, she said bullshit. It doesn't fly here if I can help it. We've had a couple times where politics really played a role in the employee pool and we clean house pretty quick. Finger pointing, not taking responsibility for your actions or responsibility for the role that you played in a mistake. We're human, mistakes happen. It's once said that a business isn't really judged by how well it's doing when everything's running perfectly. It's when shit hits the fan that really kind of the fabric of the company speaks for itself. And so, having people that can hunker down and do that as opposed to pointing at everybody else that did wrong, yeah, that's something we look to avoid. Yes men, people who just sit around and really don't know what's going on, who just agree with everything, not really having that. We build here a shop of intellectuals, right? If you're used to being, I tell people this in the interview, if they're used to being the smartest person in the room, not here. We have some amazing people that work for us, and we did it on purpose. Obviously, our company's a little bit different than a standard service company, although we are a service company. But at the end of the day, finding people who always just say yes isn't really going to help your company move forward the way it needs to. 2 or 3 or 4 people that you can just count on to do their function of the business. And a lot of times they'll just grow up with the business. Sometimes you'll have to bring in outside help, but usually that's not until you get to like 30 or 40 employees. So most of you guys are in not any real danger of that anytime soon. Which brings us to leadership, right? Now that your documentation is in place, now you know that your employees know what to expect. How do you inspire people to stay around, show up to work every day, not necessarily wanting to go every 6 months looking for another job? Studies have shown that it's a lot less about pay than you think, right? Pay well, praise better. Make sure that people are doing things that they enjoy, that they love to do, if that's possible. And if it's not possible, make their job as easy as possible. Look for ways to improve all the time. Maybe it's an introduction of a new software. Maybe it's listening to their comments and concerns and adjusting the procedures within your business to run a more effective operation. You also want to lead by example. Don't just sit around telling people what to do. Show them how to do it. I'm guilty of maybe hunkering down a little too much with my work and not going and helping other people out sometimes, but everyone here knows that I can do any job in this company and I can train any job here. So I can hunker in my office a little bit most of the time. I don't need to come show everybody up, if I sit down with sales and close 10 deals in a row or something crazy. But they need to know that you're capable of doing their job. I think that's really the core point there. If somebody's there and you're bossing them around and they do the job better than you should probably just let them do it. You need to build your generals. I talk about that. So praising those people that do well for you, making sure they're paid well and growing with the company, hugely important. You can't overlook this enough. You lose one of those guys and it takes a long time to replace. So that's really where it hurts. Look, at the end of the day, we're all humans. So as a leader, you've got to have empathy and you've got to understand what their goals and their passions are. And you've got to kind of help them achieve those goals, even in context of your business. Because if you look at them more than just an employee, then they will look at you as more than just a boss. One book that I typically recommend is Art of War by a Chinese general named Sun Tzu. So he had this idea that if you imparted your vision amongst your people, your employees, your troops, that if they can believe that as much as you do, then everything else takes care of itself. They will become generals for you. They will be loyal. They will work hard, and they'll pour their passions into your vision. So as a leader, that's really the number one thing, like getting them to believe in what you're doing and what you're growing and what you're building. That's the best thing you can do to win. And then maybe even give them a piece of that in some way. Maybe not ownership, perhaps bonuses, perhaps, company campaigns and company lunches and get-togethers and that kind of stuff. Make them feel like a family. Build a community. That's really how you win. Until next time, kids, subscribe to our YouTube channel, sign up for the demo, give us a call.